Welcome back. This is Friday Fuel. I'm Aidan, the founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club, and this week we're going to talk about finding happiness, or at least focusing on happiness and trying to connect more deeply with it. Now, I've chosen this topic this week because happiness is a real theme in our house at the moment. We're in this space where we've just moved home. The boys have got their own rooms, the space is there for us to find our feet as a family again. We had a wonderful experience in our previous home. We had the opportunity to bond, we created life in that home. But this is a new adventure, and with it, it brings new challenges, just like moving out soon after we moved in, just to get the electrics done, because it needed more work than perhaps we initially considered. And that got my wife and I thinking, what is happiness? What are we chasing? What are we looking for? And what are we role modeling for our children in pursuit of that happiness? Have we defined it? Are we clear on our intentions? Are we focused on the outcome? Or are we focused on the input? Now, the input is all of the effort that you expend, all of the things that you have to deliver on, whether that be work, paying the mortgage, clubs with the kids, schoolwork, whatever it might be. It's all those things that influence you in the moment, that influence you as you show up at home. And that's why understanding what makes you happy is so important. It's so important because your children need to see a version of you that is more than just work, that is more than the stress and the strain of daily life. It's more than just provision and protection. As a father, it's incredibly important to demonstrate the values that contribute to your family's well-being, their happiness, but it's also to focus on what makes you happy and what's important to you, because we have to inspire this generation to find that fuel, find that hunger for something that makes them tick. But we also have to help them articulate at some point in the future what makes them happy. What is it that they're pursuing? What is it that they're chasing? So my challenge to you this week is simple. Are you clear on what makes you happy? Are you clear on what makes your family happy? For me, it's time spent together, it's experiences, it's opportunities to learn new things in our family unit. It's a time to just connect and focus on one another. It's also a time to be present, a time to be clear on the needs of each individual member within your family unit. But also, happiness changes from time to time. It depends on your mood, it depends on those influences that circle around you, but it also depends on your daily interactions at home. Because we've talked about it before, you set the tone. You set the tone. You challenge yourself to step up every day to deliver and provide and create this environment that's safe for you, for your partner and for your family. But your kids, what they need to see is this version of you that understands what happiness is. Because in interactions with my eldest, sometimes he says, I can't be happy. I'm struggling to be happy. And you're looking at him saying, well, why? What is making you unhappy? He can never articulate it. He can never break it down. He doesn't truly understand, I think, at 7 years old, that happiness comes from within. And, my role is to help him and encourage him to discover what his happiness is. Discover those things that make him tick, that just tick those boxes, that fill his cup. But as a parent, we also have to be really clear on how we feel and the emotions in our mind and in our day-to-day lives, because we have to pursue happiness too. We cannot just sit back. We cannot just accept that life is happening. We cannot just accept that now we're parents, everything else doesn't matter. The things that are important to you take a back seat. But there are things that will fill your cup, that will make you happy. And you have to define those. You have to focus on them and you have to concentrate on them. True happiness, in my opinion, comes from within. But it comes from within because you're clear on who you are, the role that you play, the influence that you have, and you're clear on your ability to guide and lead with strength and courage and that confidence that we've always talked about. But happiness is about finding that thing that makes you smile, that thing that stops you thinking about everything else. It could be that holiday at the end of the year that you've worked so hard to achieve. It could just be taking a moment to sit back and survey how much you've accomplished. But what I challenge you on is whether your accomplishments make you happy, or are they just a list of things that you have done? For me, happiness is separating myself, my family, from the outside world and cocooning us almost in an environment where we're connected, where we're laughing, smiling. It's about the quality time, the quality experience. It's about looking forward to the next adventure. It's about connecting and just being present. But also, happiness for me is being able to sit back, being able to see my children smiling, being able to just embrace them when they need that hug, when they need that cuddle at the end of the day, that story that needs to be read. Happiness is simple. I think we overcomplicate it. I think we chase so many things, we juggle so many things, that we struggle to really nail down what helps us achieve happiness. And it is simple, depending on your personality, depending on your drivers, the levers that you need to pull. But if it were me, it would be sitting somewhere, looking out onto the horizon, whether it be a beach, whether it be a mountain range, rivers flowing, kids playing, maybe a cold beer, a roaring fire as the sun sets. Happiness is about finding something to look forward to grasp hold of, that allows you to perform at your best, that enables your children to see who you really are, because we carry so much stress, we carry so much pressure from time to time that we're distracted. They don't see what they need to see. They see their parent surviving. They see their parent in the grips of stress, of strain, of challenge. They don't understand why. And if we teach them how to respond under pressure, how to respond to mistakes, how to keep pushing, because resilience is key to your success, when do they see you just stepping back? When do they see you smiling, enjoying time together? The Easter holidays have just passed here, and we had to move out of the house because the electrics needed doing, and it gave us an opportunity to just disconnect from a lot of the work that we would do in the evenings. My wife's work is always into the evenings, and of course my work is too. It's different though, because if you're passionate about something, then you're prepared to take those extra steps. You're prepared to throw yourself in because it's passion. It's the driver that helps you stay motivated and stay connected. It's important to you. Sometimes work doesn't feel important. Sometimes it feels like a chore. Sometimes it just creates unnecessary stress, pressure, because you're dealing with other personalities, you're dealing with deadlines, you're dealing with people perhaps that just don't fill your cup. They don't add value. They don't contribute to your overall happiness. They contribute to your success in the office, success at wherever you work. But happiness, when we're trying to role model happiness for our children, are we always distracted? That 2-week break, whilst we were still working, our children saw us in a different light. We weren't always connected to the workplace. They saw us smiling more. Now, in my view, and I've said this to my partner, is you need a plan. You need a plan to find happiness. You need to understand what makes you both tick as individuals, but also as a partnership. Because your children need to see you taking that step back, watching life pass you by. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking a breather. There's nothing wrong with just focusing on the small things, the little things that all add up to your happiness, that all fill that cup. But also, when your children look at you, what do they see? Ask yourself that today. Do they see a distant, cold, distracted, human being? Do they see someone trying to stay on top of things? Do they see someone that is just on the cusp, the edge of stress and strain, a shouting, a frustration, of anger? When do they see you happy? Now, we've talked about the selflessness of fatherhood, the selflessness of being a parent, and putting everyone else's needs above your own. And that's why you have to frame it differently. That's why you've really got to zero in on what's important to you. Because if you find that direction of travel that you can focus on, then everyone else around you benefits. Everyone else that brings value to your life benefits. You deliver for them, but they see a version of you that improves them, that gives them something to aspire to. And you're pursuing the next job, the next promotion perhaps, the next house move like we did. Our house move came out of the blue. It was an opportunity, we took it. And now we have to navigate upheaval. We have to navigate multiple challenges within the home as we try to build this home into a home. We have to create a happy space, a space for us all to feel connected, happy, comfortable in this environment. But I don't want to burn out doing it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to face challenges depleted of energy because I took on too much. I want my children to see what's important. What's important to us as a unit, what's important to me, what's important to my wife, what's important to us as parents. I don't want to look back on life and have only worked. I don't want to look back on life and only have pursued things that contributed to the overall upkeep of the world that we live in. I want my children to understand that yes, you have to work hard. And if you do work hard, that creates opportunity for you to find happiness. It enables you to experience more. And I appreciate that is the approach that I take. The more I earn, the more opportunities that we have as a family. The better holidays, the better experiences. But if you're depleted of energy throughout the year and you're only really focused on one or two objectives, how are they seeing you? How do they perceive your mood? How do they perceive the way that you respond to their needs? That's why you've got to zero in on what's important, because there's a cost benefit to it. There's a cost of making sacrifice. There's a cost to you, to your relationships, to your connection with your kids. But there's also a benefit. And the key for you is understanding the benefit and making sure that the benefit outweighs the cost. So if you're pursuing that next career move and it creates more opportunity, the question you need to ask yourself is, A, is it the right move? B, is it going to impact my family in the right way? Yes, you might be more financially comfortable. Yes, you might own more things. Yes, the house might get bigger. The car might get more expensive. The holiday's better. But will things deteriorate at home because you're not there? Will your relationships break down because you're focused on the wrong thing? You're focused on progression, and that is the right thing to do. But are you losing sight of what makes you happy? Are you losing sight of what makes your family happy? My son said to me during a conversation the other day that he was happy. He was happy because we were at home together. We were together as a family. It's so important to create this environment for them where they feel safe, but it's so important for you to establish what makes you happy so that they see you in the right light. They see you brimming with confidence, explosive almost, but they also see you burning bright. But importantly, they see you smiling. They see you in a way that allows them to smile more. Take last week we played football out on the road where my parents live. Something I used to do as a kid, right? Ball, 2 goals, let's just play. Both boys involved. And then we ended up playing piggy in the middle. A 5-year-old and a 7-year-old and a 41-year-old parent trying to get the ball, throwing the ball over each other, making each other miss it, laughing, joking. I found myself caught up in the moment, caught up in that that time together. I wasn't under pressure to perform. I wasn't under pressure to deliver. I was just there in the moment, and that's what happiness is. It's finding space, it's finding time, it's creating opportunities for you to bond, but it's also finding that little chink of time for you where you understand what's making you happy. Because if you can unlock your happiness, if you can unlock the things that make you tick, that help you accomplish other things, that allow you to re-energize instead of always running on empty, then you're in this position where your children see the best version of you. They see this version of you that they can aspire to be. You've got to ask yourself this question: am I the dad they need? And am I the dad showing up when it matters most? You've got to really dig deep into those questions. You've got to understand your impact, your influence, the quality of the environment, the quality of the experience. You've got to understand how to find happiness, how to find purpose almost, how to find direction. You've got to find that happiness somewhere. It could be half an hour in a day. It could be helping your children do something like an Easter bonnet, or a picture, a drawing, that moment where it's just the two of you or the three of you, however many kids you've got. But happiness for you is about what? Is it about leading by example? Is it about pushing yourself to the very edge of your capability? If that is what drives you, what fuels you, ask yourself, when you get there, will you be happy? Will you have achieved everything you set out to? And will it leave you feeling fulfilled? Or will taking a step back, even if, at the weekends, just disconnecting from the outside world and just spending time with the family, will that make you happy? Will your influence and the impact that you have on their lives give you something that makes sense to you? That it creates that buzz, creates that smile, creates that joy. Happiness for me is family. Happiness for me is taking the four of us, taking us somewhere unique, somewhere where we truly connect, somewhere where we can connect outside, we can see the world. Happiness to me isn't sitting behind a desk and earning more money. I appreciate the importance of the role, I appreciate the importance of the impact that money has on our lives, but if my kids see me running around like a headless chicken sometimes, stressed, running from activity to activity after work, what are they seeing? What are they learning? Well, they're learning how to adapt to the pressure of the life that I lead. But when they don't see me smile, what do they see? They see grumpy dad? Maybe. But they're very aware of older generations in our family. They're very aware of the male influence in our family. They're very aware of the mood of older generations. They're very aware of how it impacts everyone around them. So your challenge this week is to find what it is that makes you happy. I want you to write 3 things down that clearly articulate what makes you happy. What are you looking for? What are you aspiring for? What do you want for your family? What do you want for you? What will leave a mark on your young children? What will inspire them to follow in your footsteps? What will help them understand the pitfalls of provision, of protection, of delivery on time? What will help them understand how to find happiness, how to find what makes them tick? What is it this year that you can focus on? We're in Q2 of 2025. What is it that you can focus on to help them build confidence, build strength, build resilience? Yes. But if that stops them seeing what is important, stops them seeing what makes them happy, then you need to reset. You need to focus your attention on smiling more. You need to focus your attention on the output, the stuff that matters, the input, all that stress, all that strain, all those things that you have to balance as a family. Those are inputs. But if they're influencing the way that you show up, they're influencing your ability to be happy, they're influencing your ability to showcase what happiness looks like, then you are going to need to take a step back. You are going to need to reset. You are going to need to refocus on the things that truly matter. And if you can, take your children on that journey. Encourage them as they get older to focus on the things that make them happy. Help them understand that there is input. Help them understand that they have to do things to achieve. They have to build a life for themselves. But if it comes at the expense of their happiness, they're potentially focused on the wrong thing. So you must role model what it is to be happy. You must teach them to establish a connection with what gives them a buzz or helps them focus on things that make them smile. You need to fill your cup, and you need to work out how to do that without taking away from their cup. And in the moments that you have together, you need to engage with them. If adolescence, the TV show, taught us anything, we have to engage. We have to be present, we have to be focused. We cannot be distracted because of the pressures, the financial pressures of being a parent, the financial pressures of paying the mortgage, the rent, whatever it might be. They have to see you present. They have to see you connected. Being in the room is not present. Being on the sofa, watching TV or scanning through your phone is not being present. Being in the same vicinity as your children isn't presence. Presence is about connection. It's about bonding. It's about creating memories. But it's about focusing on what makes you and them happy. So make the most of every interaction. Be aware of what you bring to the home. Be aware of what you're role modelling. Be aware of the pressures that you're under. I appreciate in 2025 we are under incredible pressure. I appreciate that we have to turn up. We have to stand up. We have to focus on whatever it is that we're doing to provide for our families. I get that. But if they see a man depleted of energy, if they see a man always focused on the input and losing sight of the output and not smiling and not showing up when it matters mentally and being present in that moment and creating those memories, then what are you teaching your children? You've got to educate them on what makes you happy. You've got to talk about it. You've got to be clear with your partner. Set time to plan ahead. Plan the future. Focus on goals that make you happy as a couple. Focus on time together. Focus on time with your kids. Focus on creating memories. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can just be time. Go to the beach. Go to the park. Find time where the phone is in the pocket, where you are just there. You are playing whatever the game is that they want to play. Stop thinking about what's around you and focus on what's right in front of you. Happiness is achievable. I work at it. My partner works at it. All I want for my kids is for them to find happiness. Because if they find happiness, if they find what makes them tick, then they will succeed. They will deliver. Because ultimately happiness comes from here. It doesn't come from the external factors. The external factors are benefits, but the happiness is here. Emptiness is here. You've got to teach them and role model how to find this happiness. They need to see you smile. They need to see the joy. This has been Friday Fuel. Remember to subscribe. Remember that all our resources are available on themodernfatherhoodclub.com. Access some of our free guides. Access our New Dad Recharge, which is the ultimate reset for dads like you and I. And listen, find your happiness, focus on it, understand it, and role model it. Show it with passion, be present, stay strong. This is Friday Fuel, and I'll see you again soon.